Hey there, all you beautiful Texans. Welcome back to the James Show. It's News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. Yeah, let's go. All right, we're looking for some James Show reporters. You too could be a James Show reporter out there on the front lines. Tell me your story of early voting, 800-288-9227. Let's go to Linda in Whitesboro. Your early voting story, Linda.
Yes, thanks. And by the way, I really like your show.
Thank you.
Pretty scary. Well, not scary. It just not expected. 3 of us went to early voting, which we do every single time there's an election, and not a problem, and great, and lots of good folks there taking care of things. Very strange. Mine went well. My husband's was fine, but our friend Lynn, she 4 times went down all the ballots, marked the Republican all the way through, flipped over to Democrat, did it again, flipped over Democrat, till the 4th time, and she got help midway, and the woman was saying, well, these machines do from time to time get a little quirky. Well, I don't think that's the kind of response.
Quirky's not a good word to use in a polling place. I don't like that.
No, and so I'll shorten this. Anyway, she got it done on the 4th time. Finally, we said, this is not right. Why is this happening to the machine? And they said, well, it should be fine now. You did get it, so it must be working now. Anyway, Lynn and we told all the people in line, and as we were going out, and please, check your vote. Be sure, however you vote, make sure it's the way you wanted to vote. If there's anything wrong, let them know. We went 4 times, and the vote was flipped.
All right, Linda.
Yeah.
Let's get it on the record. Your name's Linda. You're from Whitesboro. Where was your location, and what day did you vote on?
We voted yesterday. And
so October 22nd.
Main Street in Whitesboro. Here's the thing. I called the Republican National Committee. I spoke with Michael there in Washington, D.C. He said, we're going to go back to the polling place and with the following recommendations. They should have, at that very precise time, stopped that machine, stopped it, turned it out, not eligible for any voter to work on that machine ever again until it is repaired, inspected, and recertified.
All right, real quick, Linda, I got to take some more calls. Were you at a post office, a library, a community center? Where were you? City Hall?
Yes, thank you.
City Hall? Yeah.
Yes.
Because where I live in Buck Tussle, there's like 8 things, and it's just in one steel building that looks like a barn. And yeah, I wouldn't know what to call it either. We just call it City Hall. Johnny in Dallas, you're next up. You are my next reporter for early voting. What did you see out there, Johnny in Dallas?
Okay, I actually went the opening day, Monday.
Okay.
At Como YMCA in Fort Worth on Horn Street is a YMCA. The people that worked there couldn't have been any nicer, and they were and he would come out and say we're understaffed, and people would be clapping. It's like no problem. But it was I finally got mine in. It took about an hour and 15 minutes, but there was nobody complaining. Nobody just getting up and leaving. It was a very good experience by some volunteers, and people were nice.
How long did it take?
An hour and 15 minutes.
Okay. All right. Well, that's quite a bit of time, but I'm glad you stuck with it. Thank you for your report, Johnny. I appreciate it.
I will tell you this, though. I mean, it was like that all day from people in the neighborhood that told me. But people hung in there and did it. So.
Okay. Well, hey, everyone, I appreciate the reports. Keep them coming in. I have a whole lot more in email and Facebook message. I think I'm going to do like a copy and paste tonight, and I'll sort of have you, I'll anchor the reading of some of these reports that we've been getting from different polling locations. But Donald Kimball's my next guest. He's on from Young Voices yet again. Donald Kimball, we've been getting some mixed reports on early voting so far. Some people don't like how these machines are behaving. Overall, how do you think it's going, Donald?
Well, I have to say, as someone who has worked in, tech or running any kind of back end performance, like sound or something at events, there is a common strain of don't attribute to Militian what can be attributed to incompetence. Things go wrong. But also, when you have deep-rooted, widespread incompetence, you can sometimes attribute that to Militian. So it goes both ways there. But, this stress on early voting really is a matter for the campaigns because they want to know which counties are turning out. They want to know which areas they need to focus on, because the earlier people vote, the earlier they lock in their support, they can see, okay, this, district that's favored for me has low early voter turnout. We need to up our efforts there to get our people out. And I think that's the main reason why there's such an emphasis on it. And this is a very high turnout year because the stakes feel like they've never been higher.
Can you hang on through the break here? I want to continue with Donald Kimball here from Young Voices on the James Show. And if you have any more reports from your early voting experience, you can be my adjunct reporter on the James Show, 800-288-9227, 800-288-9227. How was your experience early voting? That's next on the James Show. I'm James Parker. It's News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. Hey there, welcome back to the James Show. News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. How was your experience early voting? We'll be talking to some James Show reporters coming up after I finish with my guest. I had another question I wanted to ask you, Donald Kimball, as we are now 13 days away from election 2024. It's interesting how well this McDonald's topic has played out, because it started out, we're only 2 days into this storyline, but, on Sunday, Donald Trump goes, he makes some fries, whatever. And it was partially to be, look like a common man that he could identify with the regular citizen among us, but also as sort of a cheeky slap to the idea that perhaps Kamala Harris lied about her previous employment at McDonald's. And then it took a weird twist. Yesterday, 3 senators sent a letter to McDonald's warning them about their inflation, and they don't like the way they've been raising prices so much, and they need to answer for themselves. And at the same time, all of a sudden, we've erupted into an E. coli investigation into them as well. And people are rightly saying, like, hang on a second. All this happened within 24 hours to poor old McDonald's, who was just minding its own business. Your thoughts on that, Donald Kimball? You think some of this is politically motivated?
It's one of those things where I was actually talking to my wife about it, where it's hard to say whether or not that it's a direct retribution, but it certainly is timed well. And it could be one of those things where they hear about the stunt, about it's coming up, and they think maybe we hold off on releasing this until after the fact. It obviously has taken a toll on McDonald's stock. It could be punitive. It might also be coincidental, but the timing really does feel like even if this was a natural occurrence and this was going to happen anyway, the timing might have been beneficial to hold off releasing this information or sending this letter until after this stunt had happened.
All right. Where can they find you online, Donald Kimball? KimballDonald.com. Is that the...
That is a great place, and I appreciate it very much.
All right. Appreciate it. I just had to ask him about that, because what an amazing coincidence. All right. Now, if you want to give me your early voting reports, we're going to hear some from some James Show reporters. Greg Granberry, your experience early voting on WBAP. Go.
Hey, thank you. 1410 West Pearl is the location in Hood County. The line was 100 feet around the building. It only took us about 30 minutes. We voted the first day. We were finished before 9 o'clock. The hours of operation for the voting is from 8 to 5 p.m. And Stephanie Cooper is the balloting supervisor over there. They did a real good job.
Well, look at Greg naming names. So, Greg, did you early vote before? And if so, how did this compare to the previous?
Always vote early. No issues on previous as well.
Was there a half-hour wait last time, or was it longer this time around?
No, there were more people in line. It was longer this time. And I did ask questions, ask what the brand of the machine was. Can't remember what it was, but it had an H on it. I asked everybody that I came across, who's your supervisor? Thank you for volunteering. And have you had any issues with the machines? And everybody said, no, not to my knowledge.
Okay, fantastic report. I appreciate it. That's Greg and Granberry. Let's continue with another James Show reporter. This is going to be Eric in Dallas. You're next up on WBAP, your early voting report.
I went to the library off of Samuel and Jim Miller area. The first thing that I noticed when I was going inside was the Stop the Felon sign with Trump's face on it, about 100 feet from the building. I didn't think that was legal.
Well, I think you just spelled out the limit. You're not allowed to have any electioneering within 100 feet of a polling place. So a lot of times they will have that marked out, like in I've seen it in the little grass between the sidewalk and the road. There will be a red and white sign that says no electioneering beyond this point, and then right past that little sign is just a ton of signs: vote so and so for judge, Trump's evil, all that stuff.
Okay. Second thing, while I was standing in line, a gentleman had mentioned to the lady there that he had forgotten his voter registration and his ID.
Ooh.
He did have a bank statement and some other form of ID. The lady said that, hold on a second, let me go in and ask the judge. Don't know who the judge was, but then she came back outside and said, yes, he could do it. Then there were about 2 or 3 machines that I noticed inside that had shut off while I was there. They had to reboot them. But there wasn't any hold, meaning that other people came to those machines almost immediately after they had rebooted them.
Okay. I appreciate your support. Your report. We'll see if anything comes of it. Thank you, Eric and Dallas. Stick with, we got time for a few more. All right, let's go to Rodney, Farmers Branch, your early voting report on WBAP. What did you see, Rodney?
First time early voting, went to Josie Ranch Library, Farmers Branch.
Mm-hmm.
From the time I got in line, from the time I left was 12 minutes.
That's what we like to hear. No one complaining about the machines or anything like that?
Nothing. Went perfect.
All right. Well, that's great. That's great. I guess we'll just move along. We got some more reporters here. Kathy in Fort Worth, you're next up on the James Show early voting report. What did you see, Kathy?
Hey, it's my first time to vote early. I took my 90-year-old mom.
Aww.
The line was wrapped around the building. She was very anxious to vote, and they immediately took her straight into the building, would not let her wait. They said, no, everybody gets to vote. So she walked right into the building, past the line. I think the line was moving very quickly anyway, and everything went great. We were both just kind of exhilarated to get it.
Now, where were you? Because it says you're from Fort Worth.
Fort Worth, in the Southwest Sub-Courthouse.
Okay, because Fort Worth, Tarrant County is where we've had the reports of the one of the screens wasn't calibrated correctly. A guy called in on the show yesterday, and then I had heard a similar report in another news source. I think it might have been from our friends over at the WBAP newsroom. Was that yesterday? So I'm kind of keeping an extra eye on Tarrant County.
Yeah.
You guys and White Settlement.
Things seem to be clicking along.
Fantastic. Well, then we needed to hear that. I appreciate it. All right, I got time for one more report here. Jay in Sherman. You're the next James Show early voting reporter. What did you see, Jay in Sherman?
Hey, James. We went in the first morning, my wife and I, and had no problem. Got right in, voted, checked our ballots after they came out, make sure it was a straight Republican ticket that we had voted, and had no problem. It was great. I will say this, though, when we got out, before we went in, I noticed that there was a Harris sign really close to the polling place.
I think they get 100 feet buffer zone. You think it was within 100 feet?
Well, I think it probably was, but there was no Trump Vance signs there. So I went over to the GOP offices here in Sherman that afternoon and got 3 signs and put them out there by the Harris sign.
All right, I like that. Don't complain, just join them. All right, where'd you vote in Sherman?
It's 1117 Gallagher over here by the stands.
What is that, a church or something?
No, it's some kind of government building.
Some administration building. All right.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Coming up next, we're going to talk to financial strategist Bill Dindy about inflation. You know, it's still raging out there, and if we didn't have an election going on, I think this would be getting a lot of attention because this kind of affects your pocketbook. We'll talk about it next. And if you have any early voting reports, you want to be a James Show reporter, 800-288-9227. Just want to know where you went, how long it took, and did you have any issues? 800-288-9227. I'm James Parker. You're listening to The James Show on News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. Hey there, welcome to The James Show, News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. You're about to hear some reports from freelance James Show reporters about the experience early voting. Did you early vote yet? 800-288-9227. 9227. Now, I haven't yet, but I'm waiting until next week because voting hours are expanded. Because right now, I believe in my county, it's 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. And I kind of have to work and take kiddos to school and whatever. Next week, it'll be 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. in my home county. Miss Parker already voted, so you can...
Hi, Miss Parker.
My family gets half credit. What did you see out there? 800-288-9227. Keisha, Fort Worth. You're a freelance James Show reporter. What did you see early voting?
Hey, I live in Tarrant County, so...
oh, wait, hang on. I got to make it official with the music. Serious music. Oh. Now it's a serious report. Go, Keisha.
Okay, in Lake Worth at the sheriff's office, the line's like wrapped around the building, moving very slow. So I went about 3.5 miles down the road to North Fort Worth, the Diamond Hill Jarvis Library. The flow was... it was easy to get in. People were consistently coming in and out. Maybe have to wait for one to come available, and they were moving through. They were nice, kind. They made you watch the screen to see what number it was before you enter your ballot, and then to make sure that it changed when it accepted your ballot. So it was good.
Yeah, so Tarrant County is, I was seeing people on Reddit saying, check your ballots yesterday. So they give you a paper printout and you get to look at it before you hand it in finally?
Yes, and then you feed it into the machine and they tell you to watch the number change from what it is to once it receives yours so that you can confirm that your ballot has been received and accepted.
Man, I'm kind of jealous because I don't think I've ever done it with one of those machines where you do it on a machine and then it prints it out and then you put it in another machine. So this is all news to me. So thank you very much. I appreciate it. Oh, and how long total time do you think you had in the voting process?
Maybe less than 10 minutes.
Okay, that sounds fantastic. Oh, and how did you find another polling location so quickly? Are you using an app?
Actually, I Googled early voting locations in Tarrant County. I went to the one that was close by my house, which was around the building. So I had a kid with me who wanted to watch first-time voting, so that was not going to work. So I knew another spot somewhere around, and so we rode over there. Mm-hmm.
Okay, great report. Thank you, Keisha. We'll move on to our next freelance reporter. This is going to be Cindy. Cindy in Mountain Springs. What did you see early voting?
Well, we voted yesterday, and we are at the Annex in Gainesville, Texas.
Oh, you're way up there.
We're way up here. And we actually had long lines, but they went extremely fast, and the machine didn't seem to have any issues, which was wonderful. They were very professional, very helpful. In fact, on Monday, on the first day, they had over 1,700 voters, and that was a record. And I think probably yesterday was the same. I just haven't seen the numbers yet.
We had a dude call in yesterday from Whitesboro. That's your neighbors just to the east. Are y'all in the same county? Are y'all the same jurisdiction? He said that was the fellow that had the screen that was calibrated wrong, and he hit a button, and it picked the box below it, and they're like, oops, we'll have to get that fixed.
We are in Cook County, and they are in Grayson County.
Okay. All right, Grayson County, we got our eyes on you. I appreciate that. Your report was a great addition to the James Show, Cindy in Mountain Springs.
Thank you.
Thank you. Let's go to another Cindy. Look at this, another Cindy. Cindy in Carrollton. You're now a freelance reporter on the James Show. What did you see early voting?
Hi there. My wait time was maybe 5 minutes. It took me longer to fill in the box. I'm in Denton County, Carrollton, Texas, at a public library. I did ask them, so they also feed it into the machine and confirm, you get a green, a thumbs up, that it was accepted. But I did ask them how I could confirm that it was counted correctly, meaning I went straight Republican ticket. They told me I'd have to call the Denton County, and so I did, just out of curiosity, to ask them about the procedure. And so I thought it was interesting when I asked them about that. They said, well, why would you think your vote would be counted incorrectly? And I said, well, I've heard from a lot of folks that where they had the ability to check pretty quickly that it was counted wrong on a different ticket, and they had to get it corrected. And so I just thought it was interesting that she scolded me as if, I'd heard inaccurate information.
Yeah, so I try and give those
listeners would want to know.
Yeah, and we do need to know that. I give those poll workers the benefit of the doubt because working in radio, you learn how many people just sign on to any conspiracy theory at any time, and they get really worked up about it, and they yell at you like, "What do you mean you don't believe in chemtrails? You're an idiot!" And So I have to give those people the benefit of the doubt, but I appreciate you getting it on the record, because if, there's a big body of evidence or a lawsuit that comes up, wouldn't that be cool if your little call got subpoenaed by Ken Paxton and this was entered into the trial as evidence? So that's part of the reason we're doing this, just documenting history. Thanks for your help, Cindy. I appreciate it.
Thanks.
All right, let's go down to Oak Cliff. Let's get an early voting report from Kathy. Welcome to WBAP, Kathy. You're a freelance reporter for the James Show. What did you see early voting?
Well, what I saw was first I get out of the car and I went to the Dallas College, the West Campus. So I park, get out of the car, and I'm immediately confronted with a lady handing out these postcard-like things saying "Stop Republicans." So
that's fun. Isn't that fun?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I enjoyed that. So I got past her, went inside. They messed with, point me down to go to, the open person so I can start the process. Well, her machine won't work, and she reboots it, lifts the printer thing up and down, and then right before I left, the guy next to me, and I'm very disturbed by this, they let him vote with a jury summons postcard. Was his documentation to vote? Yeah, that's not good.
Well, I mean, look, that sounds shady. But then again, like, are illegal immigrants getting a voter summons, or I don't know, do convicted felons, people who aren't supposed to vote? I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that, but it is something that I'm glad it got on the record at least.
Yeah, and this was probably a vote for Kamala Harris as he rifled through his wallet to try to find some identification, which he didn't have, but the jury summons. Mm-hmm. So anyway, I think that particular location is very sketchy.
Well, I mean, how'd you know he was going to vote for Kamala Harris? Was he trying to give puberty blockers to minor children or something? I don't know.
I think he liked the open borders. Yeah.
Okay. All right. I appreciate the calls. This is how you spell Mahia? You can't see the call screening board, but there's a legendary town in East Texas called Mahia. Can I make fun of you for a second? Do you mind, Garrett? On my call screen, there's Deborah in Mahia. Mahaya. Sir, show a little respect for the legendary home of a great Texan, Anna Nicole Smith. Mexia, sir. That's how we spell Mahia in Texas. All right, keep the calls coming in if you want to be a freelance reporter for the James Show. Your experience early voting, 800-288-9227, 800-288-9227. Billy Gibbons and BFG's coming to Tannehill's Tavern and Music Hall, Fort Worth, December 29th. Get tickets at Ticketmaster.com, or you can listen to our buddies on the WBAP Morning Show for the rest of this week for your chance to win a pair of tickets. That's their big giveaway. 13 days until the election. This is the James Show. News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. There we go. All right, back to some James Show freelance reporters. Beth in Arlington, what did you see early voting?
Hi, James. We live in Southwest Arlington, so we went to the Kennedale Library, and it took us 34 minutes in line, but 39 minutes for the entire thing. There were 10 voting machines. The lobby only holds 28 people, but we had more than 40 in a spiral configuration to wait to get in line.
What time of day did you go?
We just went half an hour ago.
Okay.
School let out, and there was a guy in line wearing Trump 24 red, white, and blue tennis shoes, a vote felon hat, and had a rifle shirt on.
I love those people that get dressed up like they're going to Renaissance Fair, but they're just voting. Thank you very much, Beth. I appreciate your report. Thank you for being part of the James Show today. My next freelance James Show reporter is going to be Deborah in Mahia, Garrett. Mahia. What did you see voting, Deborah?
Well, I was very curious because after I voted on my way out, I saw an elderly Hispanic man. I'm not sure if he could even read because the polling judge was there right standing next to him telling him when to hit next. She would say, go ahead and vote for who you want. Hit this button next.
I don't like when I see that. Did you see, Deborah in Mahia, did you see the Kamala Harris rally? I think it was over the weekend where they wheeled out like 101-year-old Jimmy Carter.
Oh, no.
Oh, my goodness. Like he's in like the Hannibal Lecter dolly. They have him strapped to this board and they just wheel him around and his eyes are closed and his mouth is open and they swear to God he's alive. But they say, even though he's in hospice and could die any second now, he can't wait to vote for the first black female president or whatever. But that guy, that guy is literally on death's door. Like, should you be allowed to vote if you're in hospice? If you're not going to be here by inauguration day?
Read.
I know. It's weird. Look, shouldn't you at least have to be alive by the beginning of the next guy's term in order to?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you, Deborah and Mahia. Do y'all claim Anna Nicole Smith, or is that something the outside world?
Yes, we do.
Okay.
And also, Debbie Reynolds' grandmother is from Mahia.
Okay, another round of applause. Mahia, cranking out beautiful women. I appreciate it, Deborah.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Glad to see some guys calling in. I think like 7 of my last 8 calls were women. And that's definitely not a complaint. Actually, in the talk radio space, if I can pull women, I make the management very happy. I love you too, ladies. I know who you are. You gorgeous talk radio listening ladies out there. I see you at our events. But let's hear from the guys. Let's see here. Oh, my goodness. Jay's been waiting a long time. Sorry about that, Jay. You're on the James Show, WBAP. What did you see early voting today, sir?
It went very fast. I was at the same North Josie, Denton County, Carrollton library that a woman was earlier, and I don't know how she had a problem with the machines. We had paper ballots. We filled them out like Scantron, fed them in the machine, done deal. There was nothing to complain about. There was no line, about 40 people in the room voting at the time, right in, right out. And this is about 12:30 this afternoon.
So what am I supposed to think about the James Show reporters then, when 2 different reporters have a different experience at the same polling location? You said it was paper ballot. She said there was a machine involved. Who do I believe here, Jay?
Yeah. Well, me, I guess, because I'm right.
All right. Well, good answer then, sir. Jay is right. Take that, lady, whoever you were. Roland in Glen Rose, you're a James Show reporter for a second. What did you see with your early voting today? And oh my goodness, are you in the middle of a wind tunnel or something?
No, but it went fairly smooth in Acton, Texas at the First Methodist Church.
And where, Texas?
Acton, Texas, which is just outside of Granbury.
Wow, I actually don't know one of the towns mentioned on my show. Okay, Acton, Texas. That's a new one. Welcome to the James Show.
Yeah, it probably took about 45 minutes. The only things that I really noticed, it was all straightforward. When one of the workers there kind of got on to people in line about having their phones, and then one of the people in line kind of got a little saucy. I want to take a picture of my ballot when it prints out, and they had a problem with that. And then the humorous thing was the Donald Trump sign was a big, nice sign out in the middle of the parking lot. And the Kamala Harris one was a little one over by the dumpster in the corner. So
that's always
humor.
Well,
humor in Acton.
If you're down by Granbury, you seem to be in pretty deep red territory there. So that's kind of par for the course, I imagine.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, out in Bug Tussle, I mean, they might as well just paint the whole front of the building with the Trump sign. It's super deep red out there. All right, well, I appreciate it. I appreciate the report there, Roland in Glen Rose. Now I know where Acton's at.
All righty, good day.
Thank you. All right, let's go to my next James Show reporter. This is going to be Doug in Fort Worth. Your experience early voting on the James Show, sir?
Yeah, I voted in Lake Worth.
Okay.
And it's been getting a bad rap, I think. I voted yesterday about 9:30, maybe 35 people in line.
Okay, how long was your wait?
I was done probably in 15 minutes.
Paper ballots or computer?
Paper.
Okay. We had another reporter on today's show say that when she went to the Lake Worth voting location, there was a long line, so she went somewhere a little bit east of there, over on 820, off 820.
I did hear that.
Yeah.
There's a website that shows all the voting locations in Tarrant County and their waiting times.
Yeah, that what's that called? Because she had mentioned it too. She said she just Googled it, so I was hoping that maybe we could
it's just like, voting locations, wait times.
Well, I'm so glad it's that easy. I really am glad to hear it's that easy. You come into a bump in the road, and you can just check real quick. Is there a close place with a shorter waiting time, and find out? That makes it so easy. Good job, Doug. I appreciate you voting, sir.
You bet.
All right, thank you for your report. Let's squeeze in another one before I got to run off here. That's the wrong music. Almost played the Bug Tussle theme song. All right, Brian, North Lake. You're on the James Show. What was your experience early voting, sir?
I'm a delivery driver and just happened to end up at Argyle City Hall and was in and out in 5 minutes. And those people were so polite and so professional.
Yeah, Argyle, you have probably less of a chance for a long line, seeing as how you're in Argyle. How does this compare to previous voting experiences? Are you usually in and out like that?
No, I voted in Arlington and Fort Worth before, and usually have to take about an hour out of my day.
Yeah, Arlington or Fort Worth, certainly.
Hey, and James, I got a really good Mejia joke for you if you've got 30 seconds.
As long as they don't have a cuss word, let's hear it.
Okay. Two guys are having lunch in Mejia. They're from New York City. They're arguing, getting really loud. The waitress finally comes up and says, guys, what's the problem over here? And the one guy says, we're having a bet about how you pronounce the name of this place. And she goes, well, that's easy. It's Dairy Queen.
Solid joke. That would make my kids go, Dad, ah. That's when you know you tell a good joke, when your kids go, Dad, stupid. Okay, how was your experience early voting? I love hearing from all the James Show freelance reporters out there. If you have a story to add to the mix, 800-288-9227, 800-288-9227. 13 days until the election. Coming up next, you'll hear from Betsy Brantner-Smith from the National Police Association about these new crime statistics that just got revised. I thought crime was down. Oh, it's up? How bad? We'll talk about it next on The James Show. I'm James Parker. It's News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3.